Hi, so let me catch you up to speed. Right now, I need to edit this video that I've been having on my computer since December, and it's the video where I bought impulsively 150 books when I was depressed and wanted to. And I know I always do this, but that's because like the word is much more triggering than me doing that, and yeah, so but you know what I mean. And the thing is, that video was 3 hours long, and I edited it at some point in December, and I edited like half an hour, so it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and I only have 40 minutes of it edited. So basically today I have to edit 2 hours. Sorry, I'm just gonna fix this camera. So basically today I still have to edit 2 hours, and then after that obviously I'm gonna have to go through the video for another 2 hours or something, and then I'm gonna have to upload it. And the thing is, I want it to be posted tomorrow, Wednesday, and today we're Tuesday. But the problem is, for long videos it takes so much time, so that's why I need to finish it like right now, today, midday on Tuesday, because I don't know how long the upload is gonna be. And you know, to just edit that video, I had to go through the last 5 days my camera roll on my computer and clean everything, and like basically like transfer files onto different files from the camera to the file, and then put it on my hard drive because I had no room and I was afraid that I'd break my camera. So yeah, that's just to say how big this file is. And I'll never be doing a 3-hour video. I mean, I won't say never, because I have some vlog ideas for the future for this channel and my Sandra Shelf channel. So yeah, again, like I said on last video, I switched around the names again. Hopefully it's the last time, and we're gonna be right on schedule coming the next 2 weeks. I still have to wait. You know, when you change your username, you have to wait like 2 weeks to a month depending on what you change and how you change it. So my other YouTube, my other Instagram, my other TikTok, I have to wait another like 2 weeks I think to change the username. So I won't be posting on them yet, but I have my content planned for the next 2 months. Who am I? Me planning content in advance like that? Like, wow. Literally something is in the air. But yeah, so yeah, I have to edit that. And then I'm also writing my next book, and it's a book that's very personal, but I think it might be very helpful. And it's going to be a healing book, and specifically a healing book after emotional abuse. And so I want to write that book in a week. And so far, we're not going too far, but I have like my topics now, because like every page is gonna have a different topic. So I'm on my way. Like all I have to do, I know myself, if I just spend the next few days like just, you know, 2-3 hours just writing, you know, have the topic and then the prompt, and then I just write about the prompt, I should be able to accomplish that. I don't think it's gonna be more than 20,000 / maybe 30,000 words, so hopefully we'll see. And then I will have to order a proof copy, edit the proof copy, do the cover as always, and basically you guys know already, then it's gonna be live. So if all goes well, I can get this done within 2 weeks as of today. So I will update you on the vlog obviously, and I will, you know, make an announcement or whatever when I have it published. So yeah, lots of videos coming soon, lots of crazy videos too, and crazy ideas, because you guys know when I have an idea I have to see it through at some point. It doesn't matter if I stop seeing it through, or if I don't see it through, or if I continue to see it through, I have to see it through at some point. By the way, these are hand warmers because I get really cold, and I'm not gonna tell you why I get really cold, because that's gonna be a video on my second channel coming next month, mid of next month. So if you really want to know why, just go and see that. But yeah, these are my hand warmers. I love it. Honestly, in Canada it's always cold, and inside my house it's always super cold. And yeah, but can't wait for like more warm-ish weather. I don't like when it's heat, but I don't like when it's cold. I like fall weather and like warm-ish weather. So yeah, let's go editing. I'm gonna stop procrastinating now. Let's go. So Palestine, and things unravel from there. So I think there's 3 books in this little trilogy, and I want to read all of them because these stories these stories about war, they seem so far away, because if you live in North America, they seem like they don't exist, but they really do exist, and they are ongoing even now, even today, as you see everything that's happening, you know, with Ukraine, and even like political appeal and political authority and powers that are really negatively impacting innocent lives every single day. And I am looking at you, Iran. I'm looking at you, the Islamic Republic, who are killing literally our people. I'm looking at you, the I'm looking at you, Iran. I'm looking at you, Iran. I'm looking at you, the Islamic Republic, who are killing literally our people. So, yeah. Ate and left no crumbs. I don't know if I can legally put this out there, but it's true. So I've been reading a lot of books this week, and a lot of books for different projects. So I read Wilder Girls by Rory Powers. Oh my god, I'm sorry, the sunlight. But it kind of like matches with the, anyways, but yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I listened to it on audiobook, so maybe that, I don't know if that enhanced or didn't enhance the experience for me, but I went to it pretty quickly, so there's that. It was really like, okay, what's gonna happen, what's next. I like the main character, Hetty, and how she has this like fierce protection and fierce emotions towards the people she loves and towards what's right and wrong. Let me talk a little bit about the book. The book is set at this boarding school, and 2 years ago they had this outbreak, this toxic outbreak, and they call it the Tox. And then the Tox took away a bunch of kids from their school, and then the rest were set in quarantine. So the outside world has put them in quarantine, and they had a few teachers, and at the end there was only like 2 teachers left, a headmistress and another teacher. And yeah, so this Tox is actually a crazy Tox because people start to morph, like they have scales, they lose their eye, there's like, I don't know, like boils. One girl, she has like an extra spine, and then they can have flare-ups, and the flare-ups can be very painful, and the flare-ups can result in death. There's a lot more going on the island, but I don't want to reveal that to you. You can just read it for yourself. But yeah, I fairly enjoyed it. I don't know what star rating I would put it. I'd have to think about it a bit more. I also read The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker, and I enjoyed this one a bit more because the writing was so lyrical and beautiful. And I also listened to this on audiobook. I swear to god, since getting my library card, things have been changing. Basically, the concept is really interesting. It's like this pandemic, but and it afflicts this one town because obviously they get put on quarantine, and people just start to drop dead. But they're not dead, they're just sleeping, they're dreaming, and they can't be woken up. And the thing is, people will obviously die because some people might like suffer from head injuries, some people might not get the care that they need, and some people have different experiences while they're dreaming. So I don't want to give away any more, but I love how this was following a bunch of characters. It's kind of really crazy because it's like I was reading like COVID literature, because some of the things that were happening, like stocking up on food, stocking up on toiletries, stocking up on baby formula, etc., felt really real to what we went through. And for that, I really enjoyed it, and I really felt for these characters. And it's crazy how like the author was switching between characters like every few chapters, and I still felt like, although we were like looking at 5 to 6 characters, I still felt very deeply for most of them. So highly recommend it. And not only that, the writing was so lyrical, and I love lyrical writing. It was so beautiful. It examined like love, death, mortality, aging, hope, science, nature, everything. I just honestly could not recommend this more.
In love, though I heretofore had not thought these two sensations of one piece. I looked about me and saw the square deserted, save for my own horse, and for 2 men making war with words over a woolsack, which one sought to obtain from the other, at 1 shilling the yard less the market of value. I said, no woman is here, whereupon the creature closed her eyes, and began to weep. Indeed, it seemed to me that within the minute her whole body was wet with tears, which flowed without ceasing from her. I saw then that her right hand, which rested upon my glove, was marked with a scar in the shape of a cross, the flesh there much raised, and somewhat corded. She said, I am alone then, I am all alone. And I said, indeed you are not. I asked her if she were hungry or thirsty, mindful that for as much as we give comfort to the least of God's children, we give it also to his only begotten Son. This morning, the croissant pierced her through with a hot terror.
Hi, so I just took out all my Riviera books from the floor and I put them on the dresser so I could see them and work through them in the next 2-3 months. So let's just do a little quick tour just to show you what I'm going to be reading. And yeah, it's a lot. It's over 30 books I just counted. And I'm also finishing this book, which I thought it was a Riviera book, but it is not. So, but it is about art, and my book is about art, so it actually taught me a lot of things, and I'm really enjoying the writing, and it's set in Toronto, so I really feel like a kinship towards this book. So I just dusted and cleaned up my dresser, and I also like removed some stuff so I could have room to put these. So there you go, these are the books. So I have some French books as well. So first we have The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. We have Le Comte de Monte Cristo by Dumas, volume 1 and 2. That's a big one. I think I'm going to read that in May, and I'm probably going to try to find a French audiobook, and I think I want to film a French video while I'm going through that book, so we'll see. Then we have Le Parfum by Patrick Sunskid, and this was translated from German, I think, and you know, it's the same in English, it's the perfume. Then you have La Naissance du Jour by Colette, and Colette is was a famous French writer. So yeah, if you don't know about Colette, just do a research. There's a movie with Keira Knightley I highly recommend. I really love Colette, and a lot of her works are set in France, and obviously some of it is set in the French Riviera. We have Good Morning Midnight by Jean Rhys, and I didn't know this was set in the French Riviera. I think it is, we'll see. But from my research, that's one of the books that was popping up. And I read Jean Rhys's other book last year. I can't remember. I think it was White Sargasso Sea? White Sargasso Sea, I think. And I really enjoyed that. Then we have Art. So it's just a book about art and a world history of art. I'm just going through that because, as I said, my French Riviera book has a lot of topics on art, literature, writing, and all the literary figures that were in the French Riviera. Basically, there's a lot in the French Riviera, and I'm trying to encapsulate all that, all the artists, all the writers that were in the French Riviera, especially in the 1900, although my book is set in like 2023 or whatever. Then we have Letters of Vincent van Gogh, just because, you know, Van Gogh was a prominent paintist, so I just want to read his letter. I had started this book when I went to see the immersive Van Gogh show in Toronto, so I just want to finish this up. Then we have Life with Picasso by Françoise Giroux and Carlton Lake, and this is basically this woman who follows Picasso and decides to become an artist instead of doing a degree career as her parents wanted her to. And yeah, that's just her life recounting that time. Then we have two books by Sue Rowe, and it's In Montmartre. So this was about Picasso, Matisse, and the birth of modernist art. And then following that, we have In Montparnasse, which is the emergence of surrealism. So I have both been exposed to modernist art and surrealist art through literature in French classes, because a lot of the French writers were also very heavily involved in the art scene, especially like Émile Zola. So that's why I have these two here, and I want to read more because some of these artists like Picasso and Matisse do end up going and do some work in the French Riviera. Then we have the autobiography of Alice B. Tolkas, and it's by Gertrude Stein. And the reason why I wanted to read this one is because Gertrude Stein was a prominent figure in the Riviera and basically in France. So I just want to know about their relationship. They had a sapphic relationship, and I have a sapphic relationship in my novel. So yeah, let's go back up here. The first book, you can't see it. Let me just go back a bit. There we go. Hold on. Am I zoomed in? No, I'm not. Okay, I can't go back because this is my bed, but I'll just hold this up for a second. First book is The Bay of Angels by Anita Bruckner, and this is set again in the Riviera. Apparently this girl's mother gets remarried to a guy that has a villa in the Riviera, and tragedy ensues. So I want to read that. It reminds me a bit, the blurb reminds me a bit of the book by Françoise Sagan that I read last year. It was Bonjour Tristesse, and yeah. So really like that one. It's another book that's set in the Riviera. I've read some books that are set in the Riviera, I think specifically 4 or 5 books, but of course I didn't finish my project, and I had started a lot of these books too, so I'm just working through my way now. We have The Pleasing Hour by Lily King. I'm not too sure if this is 100% set in the Riviera, but Lily King is one of my new favorite writers starting 2022, so I want to read all of her books because I do have all of her books. Here's the proof. Oh, sorry. They're right up there. All of Lily King's books. So I want to read one a year to, you know, savor her books. And I think this one is set in Italy and the Riviera, and I don't know. I'll just take a chance on it, because if it does end up being set in the Riviera, I'd be really disappointed I didn't read it sooner. Then we have 10 Days a Night. This is a classic Riviera book by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and similarly we have Ernest Hemingway's The Garden of Eden, which was I think his last novel, and it's also set in the Riviera. And obviously these two had a really crazy relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it, and I am kind of deep diving into that just for my book, so it's been really interesting to learn more and read more critical sources. So I want to read their books that are set in the French Riviera, and then I might read this one because I'm not too sure if I want to, but it has some segments in the Riviera, I think, and it's Paris Without End, the true story of Hemingway's first wife by Gioia Diliberto. Oh my god, I can't talk today. I don't know why. Then we have The Reunion by Guillaume Musso. It's actually a French book, but whatever, I bought it in English. I usually never do this. If I really like this book, there's a series, so I'm gonna reread the book in French and continue the series in French, because I love reading books in the original language, and that's why I want to learn more languages. So yeah, The Reunion, something happens, people die, and this class is going for a, you know, like high school reunion type of thing, and I do think it's set in the Riviera because it always says on the blurb Riviera. Then we have this really interesting book. It's part of this like really long series, but you can read all books independently, and it's The Other Side of Silence by Philip Kerr. And basically the main character that this book has is Somerset Maugham, and Somerset Maugham was like one of the biggest writers in the Riviera, and I just read his book The Razor's Edge last year, which is set in the Riviera partly. But yeah, it's just interesting that this person made a fictional book and put Somerset Maugham as his main character. So I might read this, I might not, I don't know. This looks like more like a fun read. Then we have The Riviera House by Natasha Lester. I don't know if I want to read this because it's a lot. It's a lot of pages, like 500 pages, and it's like historical fiction. And although like I am going to the historical fiction and stuff, I don't really, there is war, and I do know that part where people were fleeing war to go to the Riviera because, and then at some point the Riviera was also flooded with troops. But anyways, I don't know if I'm going to read this one. I'm not too sure, but yeah. Then we have Somerset Maugham's like journals and writings. So we have a writer's notebook, and we have the Skeptical Romancer, which is selected travel writing. So I really want to read this one more than the other one. I don't know if I'm going to get to them, but if it has, you know, travel writing about his time in the Riviera, that'd be nice. And I like the writer's reflection because my main character is a writer, so figured why not read both. Then we have the Best of American Travel Writing in 2021. I've never read one of these, Best of American or Best of this or Best of Sci-Fi, Best of whatever. So just because it's travel writing, I just want to see how other people write travel writing. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to do with that one, but maybe I read it, maybe I don't. This next book I definitely started reading, and it's Travel to the French Riviera. It's such a beautiful fucking book, and it's by Virginia Johnson. This lady, she travels to the Riviera and she draws the Riviera and the places that she's been, and she writes down notes, and she gives you like typical like direction, ideas, spots that you can go to. And I think that's like amazing because I've never been to the Riviera, and that's gonna be like so good for me when I'm writing. And I already used like the first one or two chapters, because for those of you who don't know, the Riviera is pretty big, but it's small, but it's also big because you have so many places in it. Now that I'm trying to talk about it, I am blanking because I haven't thought about the French Riviera in like 8 or 10 months now. So there's a lot of places. You know, you have Monaco, which is still part of the French Riviera, but it's in the Italian border. You have Nice, you have Cannes, you have so many places. The list goes on, but I'm just blanking right now. Sorry, I'm just sleep deprived. Anyways, then we have Super Cannes, like I was talking about Cannes, and it's by J.G. Ballard. And this is another, it's like a sci-fi novel set in the Riviera. It sounds super interesting. A lot of people have loved this book, and it's been around for a while, so I want to read it. I'm not too sure if this author is French, and if so, probably going to read the rest of his books in French. Then we have Akin by Emma Donoghue. This is another book set in the Riviera. Again, it has to do with war, which is a lot like the Riviera House. Might read it, might not, we'll see. Then we have The View Was Exhausting by Michaela, I can't read that from this far, Michaela Clements and Anjuli Datta. Again, this is like a extravagant trip to the Riviera of this group of people. It's like coming of age and stuff, so probably going to read this one. And then the last one is very interesting to me because my poor little Zelda Fitzgerald, it's like a novel of Zelda Fitzgerald, and it's like a fictionalized novel of her life, but it has some validity to it. So obviously we all know that Zelda married F. Scott Fitzgerald, and then her passing was very, very, very sad, and he stole a lot of her works and whatnot. So yeah, it's just a very interesting dynamic to explore. Then we have these two last books. We have Riviera Stories by Deborah Moffat, and it's just like a woman that goes to the Riviera and there's like stories. So I think this is going to be perfect for me. And then we have Meet Me in Monaco, which I started, and it's by Hazel Gaynor and Heather Webb. And this one is basically the story of Grace Kelly and how she married the Prince of Monaco. And yeah, it's really cool so far. I started it, I really like it. It has a lot to do with, you know, actually like Riviera stuff. Like we follow a perfumist, you know, with the lavender fields that they have and everything. And that's why I really like this book. And it also gives me an insight into Monaco, because Monaco is also part kind of the Riviera, and I have a chapter that's set in Monaco. So perfect. I almost forgot these two books because I started this one as well, and it's Chanel's Riviera, Glamour, Decadence, and Survival in Peace and War in 1930-1944 by Anne de Courcy. And it talks about Chanel and how she, you know, survived there and how she opened the Chanel in the Riviera. And yeah, like just how she built her fortune, how men try to come into her life, and then she would like give them money. She gave money to one of this French artists, I forgot his name. I think it's Jacques Cocteau or Jean Cocteau, which I found really interesting. There's a lot of lore in this about the Riviera as well and the artists, and it's so crazy. The more you learn about the Riviera, the more you learn that everyone is interconnected at all times, all the time, and it's crazy. It's really crazy, and I like it. And then we have this small little book, which is just How to Be an Artist by Jerry Saltz, and yeah, it's just how to be an artist, and I think it's gonna be really fun and interesting for my characters that are artists, because I don't know about art besides the basic arts. So yeah, that's the Riviera books. I'm obviously gonna talk more about these Riviera books as I'm reading them, and especially in the coming weeks, because obviously I want to write my novel and I want to finish it this time. I really want to self-publish it by August, so I really have to like get my ass into gear, man. There's a lot of books, and some of them I really want to read because some of them are gonna be really helpful. Others I don't really care. I really want to read the ones with Hemingway and, oh my god, what's going on? Hemingway and Fitzgerald, and the Monaco one, and anything that has like Riviera in the title, for sure I'm gonna read them. But everything else, I'm not too sure. The art books, I am also gonna try to read them because, like I said, I really want to do my due diligence while writing about these artists that basically I don't want to tell the plot because I want people to get excited, and I don't want anyone to like steal my idea, like very loosely, but it is a thing that happens online currently. If you want any more updates, obviously follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I will be talking more about Riviera like obsessively. And as for the pandemic / Last of Us book that I want to write, it's not the time right now because I've always had this plan with the Riviera this year. So I'm gonna halt it for the end of the year or either beginning of next year. So I'm not too rushed because the reading list for that one's even longer than the Riviera one, if you can believe it. Like it's up to like 40 books. So, and these books are like really hefty and hard hitting, and some books are, I don't know. So yeah, that's what I'm still working on it on the background, but not actively right now. So hope you enjoyed this segment. Probably gonna do more videos like this. I'm probably gonna do more talking vlogs, and I'm trying to do a weekly vlog that's going out every Friday now, as of now. So yeah. Hi, so I'm gonna close off this vlog. The lighting is terrible, but I think the lighting is always terrible in this house because our walls are dark, there's no sunlight that comes in, and if it does, it's very brief and it's hard to chase it throughout the house. And yeah, it's just a daily struggle, and honestly, like, I love being at home, I love my home, etc., but it's just the lighting situation is really frustrating, and I don't know. But anyways, enough complaining. Let's move on to this. I finished The Italian Teacher by Tom Rachman yesterday, and I really enjoyed this. I really like this. This was like heartbreaking but uplifting, and it had a lot of like good morals. Not morals, but I would say it had a lot of good messages about art, about love, about companionship, about relationship with your parents. I don't want to spoil anything about this, so you just have to take my word for it. However, if you don't like literary fiction or people like yapping about art and art history, you're not gonna like this one. So that's your fair warning about this book. But I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was really like, it was like gut-wrenching for me. I don't know why. It was just like, I'm just like watching this main character's life, and it's like disappointment after disappointment, and the end was like half disappointing and half satisfying in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know what else more to say. I don't want to give anything away because it's such a great book to explore and devour. It's like, it's not a long book, but it felt really long in the best way possible. I just basically really love this, and I kind of relate to that anxiety about like having to do things with your life and having to have people that like actually care about you. And for that, like, I really related to the main character a lot. I read 3 books this week. I had a goal of 200 books this year. I am not near 200. I think I'm at 14. But to be fair, I'm in the middle of like 20 books. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, like, I'll start finishing books so that I can be back on track. Lots of reading coming up, lots of writing coming up. I'm sorry I didn't really film the writing. That's because I was mostly doing research for my writing this week. I was researching about emotional abuse because my next book is going to be like a healing guide for emotional abuse victims. So if you're interested, that's going to come out hopefully in the next 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll keep you more up to date next vlog, and I'll see you on the next vlog. Keep reading, keep writing, keep having the best life you can have, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!